Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. I'm Tommy. You guys also know me as Snorlax. I'm joined by Tucker, Chef Jackus, and soon Max. He had to eat a little bit after yesterday's fast. Rest assured, though, guys, we will be cooking for you also. If Max shows up with an appetite, I'm sure he'll be. Pleased with what we're cooking. But that's enough of the corniness to start the show. I hope y'all are having a great start to the week. Or I guess it's not a start of the week anymore. It's already Thursday. We're coming into the end of it, pulling back a little bit here. I mean, we talk about return profiles all the time on weekdays. Thursday is kind of that day where we see typically the most red. And when I say most red, it doesn't even really feel like it, right? Because, ETH is down 0.5%, Bitcoin's down 1%. I know some altcoins are pulling back a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about that and more later on this show. Before we can get into the meat and potatoes, God, I'm just stuck in the food jokes now. Before we can get into the meat and potatoes, of this show, guys, I'm going to need you to smash that like button. I think we opened the show with soybeans yesterday. You guys hit the like button a lot more than you have been over the last few weeks yesterday. Shout out to you for that. I'm going to ask you to once again step up. Let's keep smashing that like button. Let's keep getting this channel exposure so that, if you're a comment section enjoyer, that's the best way for you guys to to get more of you in there. At the end of the day, keep yourselves entertained by more than just stream. So, but yeah, about the market, right? Because we've kind of mentioned it before. Bitcoin is going to be mostly trading correlated with equities. Equities kind of had a bit of a sell last night. They're already back to green. It's, really equity markets in general feel like Chud Jack, which is to say like nothing ever happens. I personally hate that phrase, but when we talk about the way that volatility is trading, you can see it reflected in the S&P chart, the Nasdaq's chart. It looks like nothing ever happens. Volatility is being throttled. Absolutely throttled, in a downtrend pretty much every single day at this point. So as long as that's the case, it's going to be pretty hard for the S&P QQQ to move materially lower. Maybe you get a few percent here and there, but it's kind of like picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. Right. And so we've been saying most of the action this summer will probably come from the crypto market, namely Ethereum, right? Because Bitcoin should, in theory, trade very correlated to equity markets. It's been mostly institutionalized. Maybe that mutes some of the Bitcoin outperformance here over the course of the summer. But we're seeing a huge amount of flows come into Ethereum ETFs for really kind of the first time this market cycle. And I know people are going to say, oh, but it could only translate to $2,800 ETH. And, a lot of the same people are probably going to cite the fact that Ethereum's open interest is admittedly very high, right? It's almost like half of, I think, what Bitcoin's is at this point, if you're excluding CME. So it's pretty up there. But, for one, I don't think that you can really look too much into the open interest as purely directional. There's a lot of hedging basis trades built into that as well, especially on ETH, right? When we're talking about potentially yields and staking products, it's a whole bunch of complicated, mess. But at the end of the day, ETH looks stronger than the rest of the market, both Bitcoin and Sol. And I have to think, assuming that we're not about to just re-accept back into the range that we broke out of, you're probably looking at a trend higher into the end of the month. We'll see what that means for your favorite shitcoin. Right, but we are a little bit more inclined towards the ETH denominated ones, just given the backdrop that I laid out. But how are we doing, guys? What are we seeing in the markets? Do we have any thoughts on today's price action, next week's price action, or really anything in between?
Yeah, man, I think we absolutely cannot accept back into this range if we're ETH. This is, I harp on it all the time, but this is our fourth tap of this little area. Again, Jackus talks about the origin of the move a lot, right? And this was the origin of the move down. So we did indeed come back and fill in that entire move down. But yeah, I would not want to see like that, I would definitely not want to see that. We can do this, but I wouldn't really want to see us too far below like 2650. That
I
would
like
be,
the way you have those levels, Tucker.
you like those levels?
The way you draw them, yeah.
Thank you, Jackus. Thank you. Yeah, this area is fine. Like I'll just make this as black and white as we can. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go yellow. This is okay. This is gonna be red because that's bad. And anything above there, obviously, is gonna be nice and green. Okay, so that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. I wouldn't want to see this candle right here filled in too much, but on ETH specifically. But yeah, it's been leading, it's been strong. Obviously, Tommy's talked about Soul ETH probably comes down a little bit more, but this is how I'm thinking about ETH. But yeah, like you said, Tommy, right? Equity should continue to grind higher. Let me look at the VIX real quick.
I mean, even if equities are priming a pullback, I think we're going to see ETH move higher before it, impacts shitcoins more materially. But like that chart does not look like it wants to, it looks like at best you're getting another spike up, kind of akin to the one that we had a week and a half ago. And it's probably going to get sold off again. It's just the summer is not a very constructive time for bears when we are basically trading near all-time highs. Just the people who can actually move the market are on vacation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Market
mean,
makers are on vacation.
I don't think this looks very constructive at all, really. So,
I mean, if you look at the VIX, it looks exactly like it did post-COVID.
Let's check post-COVID. Where was COVID?
In a very, very long answer, Crispy Snacks, I am no.
With even less spikes, though. That's such a brutal downtrend on the VIX.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe you end up getting one of the COVID spikes, right? Or like the post-COVID spikes.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it hasn't even been able to get those.
No.
When did we get our first one? Like our first decent spike? June,
November.
What was the time of the first spike post-COVID high?
Like how many months? 3 months about?
3 months.
We're coming into about 3 months.
And can you put SPX? Can you put SPX down below as well?
Mm-hmm.
With the time.
Yeah, let's mark it out. All right, so this was COVID. The first spike was here.
That's a big spike for a relatively small move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was not a big. Look at that. That was tiny. And then this next one, I mean, you could count this one or this one. Like, what was that move? That was 7%. So, but yeah, it was 3 months after. So exactly 3 months almost. 91. Like I said, this would be July 7th. So should have some time.
Yeah, and that's not even a big spike on the S&P.
No, 7% move. I mean, this one was like, let's see, these are all like 7% moves, even though they're big moves on the VIX. And if you just look at it relative to the all-time high, like we're probably still in here somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you might get it, but honestly, we probably do get some sort of spike, but I feel like it's going to come from equities already being in price discovery at this point. I don't know. Maybe we get some sort of like gap through the highs, consolidate for a few days, and then spike down finally. But it'll probably still be above current prices if I had to guess.
I think we gap above all-time highs here.
I think it's possible. Just looking at the chart, looking at momentum.
That.
Maybe something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you would gap back down to the current prices. Like, if that were to happen, I think you'd probably, if that's going to happen, you probably see equities, trade price discovery, maybe you get a VIX spike, and then they're just going to consolidate for a few months, I think, before Q4, which is probably going to push price higher. Unless the Fed's just not going to cut rates and the labor market maybe showing some signs of weakening. Obviously, that's something that maybe we have to keep an eye on, but I have to imagine, I mean, signs are kind of pointing towards maybe they're not going to replace Jerome Powell, but appointing a new Fed chair would probably make Powell pretty much irrelevant. And the new Fed chair wants to cut rates. So I don't know, but that's kind of like the only risk I can see to the market is that the fact that the labor market is maybe a little bit fragile. Just, reading between the lines of a few more enlightened macro heads on the timeline, some of the data, but, equities look like chud jack mode, that, it's going to take a lot at this point to send them down. The thing about equities, and it's something that we've talked about before, you kind of need everything to align for them to sell off, right? Like you need the FUD to align with positioning. And so often you're missing one of the two, I think, within that formula for a real sell-off to actually occur. Obviously, we had that kind of a perfect storm to start the year. But right now, right now, I don't think that we have both of those things to really cause a big move in the market down. I think if we started to show weakness at these highs on equities, clear distribution over a multi-month period, that would be more concerning, but I can't say it's really what I expect at this point.
Yeah. No, I don't either. Let's see. Let's look at Bitcoin again. I mean, I wouldn't want to see this like slip too far down in here,
No, I don't think it can.
Yeah, I think you got to hold this candle.
I think the Bitcoin pullback's mostly done.
But like you expect it, right? Like there is nothing as getting bearish at support. People just love to do that.
No, I think Bitcoin looks fine, honestly. Maybe some chop solidation, let ETH run. I don't know. Maybe it pumps with ETH, but I'm not really buying Bitcoin over ETH right at this point. But I'm not bearish on Bitcoin at 107K. I think most of the pullbacks probably completed. 106. I didn't think we'd actually get it, but we did kind of come down into that level. That I was kind of looking at that personally to see if Bitcoin were to pull back. That's probably a pretty ideal spot to look at bidding ETH.
Yusuf, the secret ingredient is crime. They are waiting for the perfect moment.
All right. Is Sol doing anything? Still underperforming, right? I mean,
yes. I'm not gonna be a broken record today, I promise. The Sol ETH breakdown is inevitable. People can hate me as much as they want for the Sol bearishness. I've been tweeting so much about it lately, but it's gonna happen. I'm highly convicted, and it's probably gonna happen soon. I think it's going to really start to accelerate when if this is the bottom, when ETH starts to recover, it's just going to be at a much faster rate than Solana.
I don't think it looks like bad here by any means, right? But
I just think it's going to range while ETH appreciates a lot.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen too. I'm not seeing much Sol USD downside. And if Sol ETH is going down, then it really must be ETH going up.
mm-hmm.
This is the way. I think.
Oh wait, sorry, Jackus. I would just wanted to say, I think there's definitely like that natural thought, like, oh, are they going to approve the Sol ETF first? I don't think there's any way that the Sol ETF goes live before ETH staking. I would be shocked.
I would be too.
But it's coming, right? We know it's coming. What were you saying? Sorry for cutting you off.
Just that it's very likely that the ETH ETF, staking ETF is coming in first, and it's going to be huge for the entire space. I think they first focused on getting that BTC ETF done, catching all of those bits.
Mm-hmm.
They made their money, and they will continue to do so, but I think they'll naturally progress towards something new. And that's those staking ETFs. Not to mention, they are currently just going huge on the stablecoin regulation narrative. So I think, given that most stablecoins run on ETH, I think it's a no-brainer there.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of been telegraphing this regime shift, I think, for a few months now with the stablecoin stuff. Like you said, Jack, it's we're finally seeing, for one, legislation get passed that's favorable for stablecoins. Obviously, a lot of market participants have undergone developments regarding stablecoins recently, most notably Circle IPO. And I have to imagine that's probably going to enable access to more liquidity, more TradFi liquidity potentially coming onto ETH as well. So now, I mean, we've been talking about this regime shift for a while, from ETH from Sol to ETH rather. I think it's just, seeing that materialize more strongly in price has yet to occur. I know we've already moved pretty good off the highs, but I don't think this has actually trended yet. Like if you were to invert the chart, it looks like it's loading a pretty massive candle higher. I don't know. Again, I don't want to be a broken record about Sol ETH, but I really think the bias that's there is just the most bullish signal that you could find for Ethereum specifically because of the context that it implies.
I just find it crazy that some people think like that we have this huge basically asset class by now, even if you're gonna exclude Bitcoin, which is around 1 trillion, and that this asset class is just not going to bring in so much value. But the biggest variable is, as always, time. So that will be a challenge.
Yeah.
ETH BTC gonna finally listen or what? Right.
Wait, what were you saying? Sorry. I think there's just that bit of that delay. It's back, man.
Yeah. Just that it swept the high, right? But I think it's gonna continue. Imagine if it's already bottomed. And I think it could be ETH BTC. I think it's potentially bottomed.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody
look at where ETH USD is compared to right, like this is the same level. on ETH USD. So, yeah, that's the same level. So it's got a little room to go, I think.
Should catch up then. I don't know if the ETH Bitcoin bottom is in. I have said though, I think if it is, you're probably going to see like a year-long accumulation for them at the bottom, basically. But I think 0.03s this summer is definitely doable on ETH BTC, like 0.3s, maybe even 0.35. Kind of what I'm looking for. Maybe it even goes higher than that, but that's kind of where I'm looking at it, and also fits my bias that it stays below 0.06 into the end of Q3. So I win my bet with Max.
06? I mean, yeah, that's a long way. It's a long.
I mean, you probably need ETH to go to like 5 or 6K for that bet to hit at this point. Within the next 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Which, if it does, I'll happily buy dinner.
Yeah, that would be a huge move. What is this? A little more than a 2x, 2.5x. Yeah.
Imagine if it just like kind of keeps going like the same way, it just irrational kept going down without any structure or escape pump. Imagine if it just irrationally starts going up from here.
It definitely could. Let's see.
If only you knew how good things really were. What do you guys think about beta here?
I was about to say, what's old hype doing?
Specifically, I want to, Jackus, what are your thoughts on, I know like I'm bearish on Solana, but it looks very similar to Pepe. And I'm obviously a little bit more bullish on ETH denominated things than Solana denominated things.
Wait, so what is the question?
It looks exactly like Pepe.
Pepe looks very similar to Solana.
Yeah. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, but what is the question?
What do you make of that?
Oh,
like if ETH were to go up, do you think Pepe is drastically outperforming Solana? Or do you think they're trading pretty similarly?
I think they are trading pretty similarly because they are both kind of the speculator's asset, but they have different times when they do, in like with a month's difference or so.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, like you can have one, like in this example, right? You had sort of Sol kind of going first, but then you see that Pepe pumped a lot. Like on the most recent leg.
Oh, on the most recent leg, yeah. I mean, Pepe bottomed first, right, on this candle.
Yeah.
And then it set a higher low and Sol hit a lower low. They topped at the same time, but I mean, the original pump is pretty crazy difference, right? Like,
as I said, I think from here, given that we are bearish on Sol ETH, rightfully so, I tend to think that ETH is going to go, and therefore Pepe is going to go first. But as I said before, I'm like bullish on Sol USD going, in the next couple of months. I just think that the narrative, the gambling narrative of Sol has kind of been used, and you need to pump the market first on some solid narrative and make people believe again, and that then final speculation comes at the end of the cycle, and that's when Sol USD is probably going to be ripping through all-time highs. So I think they'll kind of go both together up, but But I think the timing will be slightly different.
I think that's a fair take.
Mhm.
Like the same way you see Sol USD pumping at the end of 2023, and then Pepe pumps March 2024, right?
Mhm.
That's a
But
big
probably inverse this time.
and I think it's going to be inverse this time with a 5 to 6 months difference.
That's kind of what I was leaning as well. I was just like looking at these charts, thinking to myself, damn, they are the exact same. And if they were to go up at the same time, obviously that would kind of contradict the Sol ETH bias that I'm thinking about for the market right now. So I was just kind of like thinking to myself, how is that going to work out? But yeah, I kind of agree that it's probably going to be Pepe that goes first with ETH, and then Sol will eventually catch up and perform very similarly. But I mean, I imagine Pepe's probably going to have a little bit more juice, being that it's a meme coin.
Mhm. You think it's really going to be a 5 or 6 month lag from Pepe to Sol? Jackus?
Oh, sorry, I'm talking to a muted mic, but probably not. Probably like 3 months. Hard to say really, because again, Pepe is it's a risk-on narrative. It's a meme, and those usually go last. So I would rather think, that difference is going to be more between ETH and Sol, where ETH starts to go now, and it could take Sol like 6 more months before it starts to go, but they will both go together. Like I do not think there is a universe in which ETH goes to above 4K new all-time highs and into price discovery, and Sol doesn't.
Mhm.
But I think that it could happen like this, where ETH goes into that price discovery, starts going to like 15K, and people will truly be like, hey, what is fucking going on? Like, why am I stuck in this Solana, man? Like, ETH is going now. And like, it will take them time to really accept that new paradigm. And then I think when people give up, just like they gave up now with ETH, and they'll continue to keep saying that, oh, if you held ETH for the past 2 years, you've underperformed Sol, right? Or like past whatever. And that's true, but from here forward, I think that is going to change.
Paradigm shift. And it's a healthy one, right?
Healthy one for the market. But it doesn't happen. That paradigm shift needs time. It doesn't happen over a month. That's not how you flip people's biases.
Somebody in the chat wants to bet me.
That it doesn't hit 0.02 within 3 months.
I mean, that's a pretty aggressive bet. I guess it is the one that I'm making, but it's more profitable for me to just express it through the market than to bet you. So
Where is 02? Oh my God, Tommy. Yeah, I don't know about that. 3 months.
I already said I'll declare victory at like 0.03, but I do think it probably comes all the way back down to 0.02.
Well, that Sol East pair has undeniably broken down. I think anyone not accepting that is just it goes against their bias.
Yeah, I mean, I like this area more, like 03, 03s, but yeah.
That time variable is always hard because you do not know what can happen along the way and things can get postponed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that level is coming. Just like when?
When moon.
When moon? Didn't we just
Soon.
have a full moon yesterday? I think we did.
Yes, we did. It was big and bright, and when I woke up, it was staring me straight in the face.
Was this strawberry for you? Because it really wasn't. For
It
me,
wasn't like pink or anything. It was just,
yeah.
it was just a regular full moon, but it was pretty bright. I think it's like one of the closer full moons to Earth. So if it seemed brighter than usual, that's probably why.
Well, it's always pretty close to Earth, so. But we'll move on. Somebody said, what are levels for Bitcoin?
I mean, I could see it maybe even come down into like 105.5, but
yeah,
I don't think you're getting any lower than that, really.
I like this. I think that needs to be it.
I didn't even realize we're pulling back more on the show, aren't we?
Yeah, we are a little bit.
Yeah, I like 105.5. It's a good spot for, again, I'm not longing Bitcoin, but.
Is there news? Is this a news candle? It appears to be a news candle. Maybe not.
Are you sure? I think that's just the way Bitcoin trades now.
Could be.
Awful.
Could be.
I used to love trading Bitcoin. Now I honestly hate it, but it's so institutionalized. I don't even know if that word does it justice, but it's just like, it's not the same as it used to trade. If you know, you know.
That's true. I mean, you put Ken Griffin in the books and you're done. It's over.
It's like, oh, you have this 15-second inefficiency that we formed on this dump 2% higher. We're going to go back and fill it.
We better go get that, yeah. Be irresponsible not to go fill those.
Yeah, that's real.
I mean, these are my levels for Bitcoin, low time frame, right? That or that. Really all I'm looking at.
I feel like we reverse out of this pretty quickly. I don't want to give like a time on it, but I do think that it's going to happen before most people feel like they're comfortably positioned. Maybe more so on ETH than BTC, right? I don't know what my expectations for BTC are here from an upside standpoint this summer, other than 120 in June. I still think we get there. Whether we extend beyond that, I guess kind of depends on whether or not we get like some sort of headline but yeah, I think 120 in June makes sense. Probably still get there. We have 3 weeks.
That's what I'm looking for.
Joyful
summer. I don't know if we're going to get there in June, but
it might be July, like the first half of July, but
yeah. I think there'll be like a decent little shakeout in July, and then we'll probably go higher from there. And then you'll get a real correction in late August or September.
I think so.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I am in agreement with you, Tucker. What do we think of some of the market leaders right now, though?
I mean,
like Hyperliquid, SPX 6900's another one.
Dude,
I'm still just so surprised that people are bidding SPX 6900 here, but hey.
Josh is totally right, by the way.
One bad day equals bear market. Yeah. I mean, hype's like mid parabola, And it's got room, I think. Like, where's the parabola function? I mean, it's
the parabola.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much TA to do on hype besides pulling fibs, which are at like 50 and 80. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're either seeing Hyperliquid about to top out near like $50, or it's going to gap up really aggressively towards like 80. Right, we're either running the BNB fractal or the SUI one. At least that's how I'm viewing it in my brain. I think if we're running the BNB one, then you're probably getting ready to top on it, right? You're like 50, 55, maybe even 60.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that really fits as much with my bias on something like ETH. I don't know. We'll see. What does the pair charts look like on Hyperliquid? I know that's something we haven't really talked about, but I know it's been really strong. Like Hyper, ETH, Sol, Bitcoin.
That would be interesting.
Whoa, we should do Sol probably.
Oh, I bet against Sol it looks, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to look good at pretty much everything. It's just now kind of breaking this high against the ETH, though. So that's probably going to move up. BTC. I mean, yeah, it looks good against all of them.
Yeah, it does.
Do Hype XRP. Boom.
Strong against everything.
Yeah.
Now do Hyperliquid against Aura.
Dude, I don't even know how to.
If you know, you know.
Yep.
Thanks.
This is weird, though. Like, not ignoring this, which looks like Luna. Like, this is weird. A little bit, I think. Like, what? I would have assumed it was just going up only against, or whatever, but that's crazy.
Goddamn.
Hype over. Yeah, dude, there's nothing it looks bad against.
Damn. Well, let's look at some other market leaders then. I mean, SPX 6900's obviously been another really strong one. It's so funny watching people type in like, trying to do the bots in Telegram, and they just type SPX, and the bot knows immediately to do the coin instead of
SPX. Yeah.
I ask myself, who the hell is buying this coin at 1.5 billion market cap still? But I guess it doesn't matter. I don't see why it doesn't keep going up.
Is this all-time highs right here or no? 177. Yeah. So it just hasn't quite got there yet.
This is real. We were kind of talking about this right after the show yesterday. I think it was me, Jack. It was me, Jackus, and Max, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this one, man. But that just looks like the biggest distribution you've ever seen.
I think it kind of looks like Pepe in 2023. And it was going up alone, sort of, during the entire 2023 run. And everyone was a Kaspa Maxi. And then Kaspa Maxi started to say that Bitcoin was a testnet for Kaspa. Since then, it just went sideways. And basically, while so many other coins kept mooning, Kaspa didn't. It went sideways, and then it went down during that Q1. Not that much, but still went down. And I think lots of hopes and dreams have been crushed. But I think right now it has that very bad sentiment towards it, and or like, that excitement is gone. And I think that's a perfect time for it if it wants to make another leg higher. We'll see if it's in the same way as Pepe here, but I could see, I could see this being a good zone for longs.
When you say you think it looks like Pepe in 2023,
I mean this, yeah.
you mean like, are you thinking like, this is like this, or are you saying it's the whole thing?
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Where did it come down to also? Kind of, yeah, I mean, that would suggest the bottom's in somewhere. So are you saying it's here?
Yeah.
Jeez.
But obviously, it doesn't have to like go straight up like that. But like psychological wise, it's at the same. It's at the same spot, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say you can confirm that once you get back above that high. Then it's
Yeah, likely.
Then it's go time. Until then, I wouldn't touch it personally, but it's an interesting comparison.
I mean, this is in like the Soul Basket, isn't it? If I remember correctly, it kind of trades mostly correlated with it, give or take.
With Soul?
I mean, it's not like Soul Beta, but I want to say they pumped together. They started distributing together. Most of the price appreciation and outperformance occurred generally over the same time period.
Let's put it on the chart then.
Okay, Soul.
There is nothing as core data.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So I guess you are just kind of trading Soul indirectly with a worse looking structure.
I would say you're just trading crypto, man. Because you can put Pepe on this chart and it will somewhat correlate as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely will. Let's see. It just, I don't know. It looks a little more distributive than like a Soul does, But
I mean, Caspa kind of looks like Bonk, right?
Bonk.
I guess, you're just trading crypto.
Yeah.
I ask myself if we're going to look back on Bonk in like a few years. I have no idea if it's ever going to run, but if that Bonk range that we're forming, because Bonk has a lot more price history than that. I know. But the Binance chart, right? Like what if that Binance range on Bonk ends up being like the Matic of the cycle? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Because Matic had that 2-year range before it actually broke out, and then it marked up like 50x.
That seems to be lots of cryptos.
Yes. I think it's hard to see some charts in that light. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Matic, again, spent like 2 years in a range before it actually broke out in 2021.
Mhm.
And so I feel like if you're just looking at the Matic chart, all you see is a chart that can't break range highs. It's just been trading in a massive range that, maybe it's difficult for you to fathom like a 20 or 50x markup when it breaks, but we've seen it happen repeatedly throughout the history of crypto.
Oh, it's just not gonna be. It's gonna be hard to find that chart, isn't it?
I mean, if you just type in Matic USD, you should probably find it.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, like that range right there.
Yeah.
I ask myself sometimes, like, what if Bonk is just going to end up doing something like that, where you look back on it and it was just an accumulation range for a much bigger move? And Bonk has always had pretty good retail volume.
Yeah.
Bonk and Mudang have had pretty good retail volume from meme coins for reasons I don't really understand, but hey. Yeah, the Matic chart is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that kind of supports the we're coming out of COVID thesis, right? In a way, looking at the Matic and Bonk chart.
Yeah. This is what, November 2020?
Or maybe even like March or April 2020.
So you kind of need to wait until March next year.
That's so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not perfect, but let me see if I put this in log if it does anything. What about Fartcoin? We haven't looked at that in a while.
That's true.
I'll pull it up.
I don't know what's happening with Aura. I think there was some Binance crime, but other than that, I couldn't tell you. I think that's a pretty good advertisement. Honestly, you could probably psyop a bunch of people into buying back culture coins that are dead, hoping that it pulls an Aura, but it probably won't.
Yeah, like the hard part is that there's thousands of tokens and you do not know which, like, you think you'll catch the next Aura, but you'll catch the next EOS, man.
God, that's so real. I mean, the same thing happened to me in the spring. The way Aura was painted looked exactly like the way that Nero was painted on Binance. Total cabal scam. It's just like completely flat price action. Then all of a sudden, you literally just get this vertical 5-10x candle. I mean, I was looking for a move like that on CZ's dog coin. I remember earlier this spring. Maybe it ends up coming back someday. It's like not a terrible bag of dust to hold, but still. Yeah, you just hope that you pick the right coin that the cabal is going to scam. And I'll be honest, if you had money on that coin being Aura, you're probably the best gambler I've ever seen. If you just happen to buy the Aura lows because you like the coin, well, shout out to you. Can you imagine how nice of a surprise that would have been?
That would be insane.
I saw a tweet that was talking about this guy who sold like $8,500 worth of Aura at the low last week.
Oh no.
Yeah, just if he just could have held out for one more week, dude, I'd be fuming.
It's always like one more week, and then you're gonna end up holding for 2 years, and it's never going to pump.
Oh, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That really doesn't look the best. I mean, it just looks like it wants more range to me.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to see it make a new low for sure, but that's probably a nice bid level, maybe.
Fartcoin almost pulled back enough for me to publicly admit that I don't find farts funny.
Almost.
I think farts will just keep on following Sol more or less. So, yeah.
Fartcoin kind of looks like a short to me here.
To what level?
Maybe like $1.05. It could make one more leg up first.
I could see that.
What, you said 50 cents?
No.
$1.05.
Oh, 150.
Yeah.
I was like, bro.
But I kind of feel like it could trade back to the highs first. So
I don't know. I think it wants here. Maybe.
I don't think $1.05, but I could see like $1.20.
I like 115.
Yeah, 115.
I might consider shorting this if it sweeps the high. The people who are swinging Fartcoin with size, I think, are absolute psychopaths, man. There are a lot of leverage traders doing that. I think they are psychopaths. The volatility on this thing is insane, which I understand you got to love from a trader standpoint. But if you're swinging that with size, man, that's just crazy to me. It trades pretty cleanly, though. You know, if you kind of sort out the lower time frame noise, it does trade pretty cleanly. It definitely respects like the law of ranges. The law. I say that as if it's an actual thing.
No, it does. Yeah, I like 115. What stage of the cycle are we at?
Don't know.
We are in the post-COVID recovery.
It seems like it. Seems like it, but I kind of feel like we get to from point A to point B maybe a little bit sooner. Maybe that's just wishful thinking, but
I think you're somewhere in here. If I had to guess. But nobody knows for sure.
But
I would guess one of these two corrective phases we're coming out of. So, I mean, we just had these two. So, it's either this leg and we just blow off to like 200 something, or you have this first.
Tucker, that consolidation you just drew that brush starting from. Can you bars pattern that?
I don't know who made this meme, but whenever you say it,
Nobody knows for sure.
Wait,
Nobody knows for sure.
oh, the max one.
Yeah.
Bars pattern from where, Tommy?
That consolidation you drew the brush from to the
Here.
top of the parabola.
Which one? You talking about this one or this one?
The first one.
Okay.
Wait, can you get the consolidation that goes with the first one too?
Oh, this whole.
Yeah.
Like
I might be
that.
about to blow y'all's minds. Yeah. All right, now zoom out. Like
Okay.
wait, monthly.
Oh, monthly.
Dr. Outlook mode.
Yeah.
And I want you to put that first consolidation on the 2018 cycle and the second one on the 2021 cycle.
East. Wait, put this one where?
Like expand the fractal.
Okay. And put it where?
Much bigger.
And put it where?
Line it up with current price. You've almost got it. Keep expanding.
To the right?
No.
To the left?
Yeah.
This?
No. Make it bigger.
Oh my god. Tommy. You might have to just do this.
You've basically got it now.
Like that. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Like this was that and then. Okay.
Yes.
And then what about current?
I mean, you don't need the current would be, like you probably need a more granular fractal for it to make sense. But I kind of feel like we might just be replicating it on a much larger scale.
I see what you're saying.
I think this is actually what Big Sal was talking about.
No way, bro.
You remember?
Yes, I remember, bro.
That's what made me think about it, man. I was thinking about Big Sal
Dude,
the other day.
Big Sal.
Study Big Sal, man. That,
Oh my god.
okay, so this is that where you got this?
I don't know if that's what he meant, because it was really hard to understand him, but I was just thinking about it. Mainly because, I mean, like how I'm viewing equities right now, maybe it could be replicating the same thing. So I'm viewing that of, oh, well, if it fits on equities, what does it look like if I put it on Bitcoin? And yeah, I mean, it's something that is worth considering as a possibility.
Interesting. I mean that it fits really well to like up here,
Well, if you take it more granular too, you'll find it fits actually kind of crazy well.
Really?
Yeah,
I bet you have it fitted, don't you?
I do have it fitted.
Yeah.
I can share my screen if you'd like.
Yes, do it.
For a brief moment. For a brief moment, because I can't have anybody else see the other delusional fractals that I have all throughout my object tree.
You said delusional fractals.
This is what I was getting at. Isn't that kind of crazy? It's actually lined up really well.
I could
Even
see
right now.
something like that. I don't think we might go that low through the bear market, but something like that is possible.
I mean, when would that be? April 2026, August 2026. Now, I'd say that lines up with the timeline that we are kind of discussing, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Alt season in here. I don't know. Even like here, I feel like you can see the similarities, man. The super cycle. God, if you guys remember Big Sal, I don't know if this is what he meant, but I think this is kind of what he was trying to say.
So wait, what did he say?
I think he said that like the entire Bitcoin cycle was just like a replication of the parabola. But he might have meant something else. I don't know if this is how he planned it, but yeah, Requiem for Big Sal. Oh, if you're still watching the show, Big Sal, shout out to you. I don't know if this is what you meant, but
I don't think the 91K is at play anymore with this recent leg up that we had.
I think that was the bulk of the downside move, honestly. Maybe you get down in here, but maybe not. All right, we go back to hiding.
If you Manish, if you will be patient, you might get something very soon.
It's true. Maybe.
Just maybe.
They think that we're not cooking anything behind the scenes.
You guys hear my
Yeah.
actual dogs like howling? I don't even
Yeah,
know.
but
No.
it's just like very, very little.
They're being
I don't
wild.
hear them, but I do hear my wife in the background. So if you guys hear her, please let me know.
I can't hear. Can't hear at all.
We take professional yapper as a label seriously in this house.
Professional yapper.
Jack, if they're requesting you pull up a chart and cook for them.
Why?
Have they hit the likes?
I don't know. Let's see.
Probably not.
Uh, 127,
That's not good enough.
including mine
And mine.
and Tommy's.
And mine.
Oh man.
No, probably not today. I've cooked this week a lot, so yeah, I think that's fair. But next week, hopefully, we get some exciting move ahead again.
I feel like next week's gonna be crazy.
It better be. I mean, every single day we don't get like 20% moves. It just doesn't feel it. It doesn't feel the same.
My dopamine craves more, or my
Yeah.
dopamine receptors. We did get a super chat, guys. To take a look at Joe on ETH. It's 30 minutes, so I know it's big enough to look at. Somebody.
Wait.
Hmm?
Does he want to see Joe on ETH or the average Joe on ETH?
Somebody who bought my dog coin, sold it within a day, and then bought the top of this with the exact same money. Yesterday, I was watching Dex Screener and I was like, is this guy serious right now?
Yo mama. King Louis, I have something special for you.
What do you have for him, Jackus?
Does he know? Oh, I think I know. Is it a meme?
You do? It is meme.
Dude.
Damn, Nvidia green 1% today. That says a lot.
Wait, what are you guys' thoughts on Joe real quick? I don't want to.
Oh, on Joe, I mean, it's SPX 6900 beta, kind of.
Oh,
I
really?
don't really like the meme that much.
So it is beta of a beta of a beta that's beta of a beta? Or
That is why
like
I don't like the meme. But it just it looks like an oscillator based on SPX 6900.
Mm-hmm.
When SPX 6900 is trending, you probably buy it. When it's not trending, you definitely don't want to hold it.
I mean, why not? But why this beta of a beta of a beta is something else, right? Like, what's the narrative behind it?
It's Joe.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow. Wow.
that changes everything.
It changes everything. It kind of looks like Kipshi. Can you can you
It
put
looks a little bit
Kipshi?
like Kimchi. Unfortunately, they took 100K out of the Kimchi chart to put in this one at the peak of top.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah, log.
No, just add Kipshi next to it with the plus function. Maybe keep it normal. Not
Kimchi's
even.
got another like year of price action to go off of though.
Oh.
I think you need to use the Kipshi.
Oh, there's a crypto symbol now. Nice. Leveling up.
Yeah, this one.
Which one's the USD one though?
I
Oh,
think
that's
the in the middle.
Yeah. They do look pretty similar.
they do.
Yeah.
Are you saying that a bunch of ETH on chain memes look pretty bullish right before ETH's getting ready to leg up to 3,800? Is that what I'm understanding?
You're understanding very well, Tony.
I think on chain's about to go, at least on ETH. There are a lot of signs pointing to the fact that it's about to go crazy. I don't know. I don't know to what degree, so I don't want to like overpromise anything. But I mean, shit, if ETH goes back to 3,800 to 4K, if Pepe's marking up potentially back to the highs, like what does that imply for the rest of the ETH on chain market?
It
I don't know.
means full moon.
Are you a rock respecter now, Jackus?
Yes.
We did it. We got him.
Yeah, it seems like lots of this, lots of these will go up. The question is which ones to bet, right? And so, what has a better narrative? Is it Joe or is it Kipshi, or is it something else? That's the question.
My meme coin is better than yours.
That's gonna be the fight again, and I hate that fight. I won't lie. Like, there is nothing worse than people arguing on social media which meme coin is better, man.
I agree with you on that. Unfortunately, it's just I feel like inevitable when this cycle seems to be about increasingly de-dollarization. At least I feel like that's kind of I won't say the end game for memes, but what probably causes some like euphoric top again is going to be like, why would you ever hold dollars? And meme coins are the purest form of liquidity. So I do think the narrative will come back, but I also hate when the timeline is just like when my reply guys are like, yeah, my meme coin is better than yours. I don't care, man. It's just beta. That's beta.
I think this looks pretty good. Are we recovering it all here? A little bit.
Yeah. I'm really not stressing lower time frame dumps right now.
No, no.
Now, if Bitcoin does pull back deeper than expected, it just probably confirms the summer range ors were right. And I would also hate that because, yeah, I've spent the first half of my June anxiously anticipating the ETH breakout. But I think it'll be worth it.
So do you think, Tommy, the Kipshi pullback is over? How much do you think it could pull back? Because I feel like doing TA on these, is it even like worth it?
You can and you can't. I mean, I think if it's going to continue trending, this is probably the end of the pullback, or that we're coming into the end of the pullback. Whenever ETH rebounds, I think it'll be fine. Like, I don't think it's going to nuke when ETH pulls or when ETH starts rebounding, but yeah, I mean, that's like the crux of it. It kind of has consistently reminded me of SPX 6900 in the sense of not just like the chart, but also like sentimentally and my own experience with SPX 6900. Like, I bought it at 5 mil. SPX that is, and I sold I think at like 8, so I missed the whole run up, but I knew, like, it was so obvious to me SPX 6900 was going to go to $1 billion one day. I just didn't really have the patience to sit and to have capital committed to a coin like that. Kipshi gives me the exact same vibes, and the same vibes that Mog gave me too when I did the exact same thing that I did with SPX, where I bought and sold under 10 mil Mog, which is so funny to look back on. I think to a certain extent, right? You can't look at the chart. If you know something is good, it's probably going to get there eventually. You just don't know when. From an SPX 6900 standpoint, I kind of compare it to the momentum oscillators, right? Like SPX 6900. I hate that I've had to say that so much here over such a short window of time, but the RSI got super overbought on the daily as SPX 6900 approached its high for the first time. And I hate RSI labels in the sense that I hate overbought, oversold. They're a complete misrepresentation of what's actually happening. And yeah, I mean, SPX 6900 went on to rip like 100x after that overbought reading. It pulled back, obviously, I think reflexively because of that RSI, and on-chain coins do still have, I think, a big influence from like algorithmic trading, but yes, even Kipshi and SPX 6900. But I think if it's going to go this summer, this is probably the end of the pullback, and that you're seeing in the same way that SPX 6900 had that big pullback after RSI was super overbought. That's when it actually went on its parabolic run. We just don't have a Murad, so who knows?
All right, guys, time to wrap it up.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot, talking about dog coins and derivatives, or like joint derivatives of Pepe and the real SPX. But we hope that you guys enjoyed the show. Market Check, where we cover a little bit of everything for your trading. But before we can let you run, just a few things to run by you. Starting with, if you enjoyed Market Check, we'll be back for another episode tomorrow, 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard is typically when we go live, and we are live on weekdays whenever the New York Stock Exchange is trading. So if you enjoyed the show, hopefully we see you again. Tomorrow we'll close out the week. But of course, as well, don't forget to wrap up your day with Market Talk and King Wabi hosted the Because Bitcoin X account. That is a Spaces, so make sure to stay following and subscribed to the Because Bitcoin account and Wabi, so you can be notified not just when we schedule those Spaces, but also when we go live. It is Thursday, so he's not live today, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can expect to wrap up your day over there. But yeah, no product shills today again, guys. But before you run, I'm of course going to run by you the BB terminal, which, I mean, it is honestly, the product blows me away, guys. Every day that I check back in and I see the new functionality and utility that we built into it. It's not a joke when we say that we're going to continue to build and make it the best possible product that you can buy in crypto. Whether you're an active trader, trading lower time frames, derivatives, open interest data, whether you're a long-term investor trying to use data-driven tools and metrics to be able to make long-term decisions on your investments, or even whether or not you're an on-chain degen. Maybe you don't call yourself a degen, maybe you're a meme coiner, maybe you're a DeFi farm, or whatever it is. This tool will give you the ability to be able to conquer those markets in a very efficient and timely manner. I mean, we've aggregated and sourced all this data for you guys already, so it's very easy to access. Can't recommend it enough. Seriously, check it out. Get your foot in the door with the free portfolio tracking. I promise you won't be disappointed. But until tomorrow, guys, thanks again for tuning in, as always. And of course, stay safe.
Tired of outdated trading tools, confused charts, dozens of tabs, endless stress? You're not alone. Introducing BB Terminal, your all-in-one command center for crypto trading. Track your portfolio, monitor the markets, stay ahead, all in one place. From chaos to clarity, from struggle to success. BB Terminal.